You know, there's one voice you hear more than any other. It's not your boss, not your partner, not anyone you follow online. It's that constant, quiet narrator inside your own head. Today, we're going to dive into that hidden power, the incredible force of our own inner voice, and how we can learn to transform it from our biggest critic into our greatest ally. So let me just ask you this straight up. Who is really in the driver's seat of your life? Is it actually you? Or is it that automatic stream of thoughts that, let's be honest, sometimes feels like it's running the whole show? Well, the answer might just surprise you. Let's dig in. So here's a quick look at where we're headed. We'll start by uncovering your brain's hidden boss, then we'll get properly introduced to that nagging inner critic. From there, we'll explore the mindful shift that puts you back in control, learn how to rewrite your inner script, and finally, see the amazing ripple effect all this has on your entire world. All right, first up, let's get to know the single most influential voice in your life. And look, this isn't just some philosophical idea. There's real hard science behind the power of your internal monologue. According to the Mayo Clinic, self-talk is pretty simple. It's the endless stream of unspoken thoughts that run through your head. I mean, it's happening right now, as you listen to me. It's like this background radio station that's always on, and it's shaping our reality way more than we realize. And here's what's so fascinating. This isn't just an abstract concept. Neuroscience actually confirms it. Your brain literally listens to your inner voice. It activates the same parts of the brain that light up during an actual conversation. Your brain is treating every single thing you say to yourself as if it's true. Which, of course, brings us to a really important character in this whole story, the inner critic. For so many of us, that default inner voice isn't a cheerleader. Nope. It's more like a harsh judge, and it's actively sabotaging our confidence and our happiness. And our inner critic loves to use these little mental traps. They're called cognitive distortions, like filtering, where you give an amazing presentation, but you can only think about that one tiny stumble. Or personalizing, where you immediately blame yourself when a friend cancels plans. And then there's catastrophizing. You know, if I fail this, my life is over. And of course, blaming, where it's always somebody else's fault. Any of those sound familiar? Yeah, these are the critic's favorite moves. And this really lays it all out, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the critic script. It's harsh, it's defeating. But on the right, you have the champion script. It's all about growth and resilience. The most important thing to see here is that you actually have the power to choose which one of these voices you're going to turn up. And this isn't just feel-good fluff. Seriously, the top performers in the world, we're talking Olympic athletes, surgeons, you name it, they use positive self-talk to stay focused and perform under insane amounts of pressure. It's a fundamental tool for building the resilience you need to get through, well, life. So, how do we do it? How do we make that switch? How do we quiet down the critic and turn up the volume on the champion? Well, the answer isn't to get into a big fight with your thoughts. It's actually to change your relationship with them. This, right here, is the mindful shift. Okay, so the very first step is to adopt what's called an observer stance. So instead of getting all tangled up in a negative thought and immediately believing it's true, you just take a step back. You simply notice it without judging it, almost like you're just watching a cloud pass by in the sky. Here's a super simple, practical way to do this. First, you just notice the thought popping up. Second, you name it. So instead of, I'm a failure, you say to yourself, I'm having the thought that I'm a failure. You feel that? That little bit of distance? That creates step 3, space. And inside that little bit of space, that's where your power is. It's the power to choose how you're going to react. This whole practice is called cognitive diffusion, and it's really just the skill of seeing your thoughts for what they truly are. They're just mental events. They are suggestions, not commands. They are memories, not fortune-telling. Once you really get that a thought is not an absolute fact, it loses its grip on you. And that realization right there, that's your key to freedom. All right, so now that we've learned how to just observe our thoughts, it's time to get a little more active and start to rewrite the script. This is where we grab the tools to build a more supportive, more compassionate inner voice. So let's start with a classic line from our inner critic. I'll never manage this task. It's so final, right? It's hopeless. And it basically shuts down any possibility of success before you even get started. But just watch what happens when we reframe it. That statement becomes a question. How might I approach this challenge? This simple little shift from a dead end to an open door, it changes absolutely everything. It invites curiosity, problem solving, and, actually doing something. So here it is, your new toolkit.
First, reframe those negative statements into curious questions. Second, use affirmations that actually feel genuine and personal to you, not just some generic thing you read online. And third, and this one might be the most important, practice self-compassion. When you mess up, talk to yourself the same way you would talk to a good friend.
And the science on this is solid. Tons of research by Dr. Kristen Neff shows that self-compassion isn't about self-pity, and it's definitely not a weakness. It is a powerful predictor of resilience. And here's why. Self-criticism actually activates our brain's threat system, fight or flight, which literally shuts down our ability to think clearly. Self-compassion, on the other hand, activates our care system, which makes us feel safe and allows our brain to calm down and actually solve the problem. But here's the best part. This work doesn't just stay cooped up inside your own head. Oh no, when you change your inner voice, you create these profound, incredible changes in your outer world. That is the ripple effect. Just think about it for a second. Instead of dreading a tough conversation at work, your inner champion might say, "Okay, I can handle this with respect." That one small shift completely changes how you show up, which in turn changes the entire outcome. Your inner shift can't help but ripple outward. The benefits are so clear and so significant. People who practice this kind of mindful, positive self-talk report lower levels of stress, they bounce back from setbacks way faster, that's what higher resilience is, and they just plain demonstrate better performance in everything from sports to school to their careers. And maybe one of the most beautiful outcomes of all of this is that when you stop being so hard on yourself, you naturally become more patient, more empathetic, and more supportive of other people. Your inner kindness just radiates outward, strengthening all of your connections with the people that matter to you. So we'll end on this thought. We spend so much of our lives seeking validation and support and encouragement from the outside world. But what if the most powerful, consistent, and unwavering ally you could ever possibly have was already inside you, just waiting for you to change the conversation? What would be possible then?